Guys, what's going on? It is Heroes Untapped 2.0, the second week, the second episode. It is Return of the Leech King's Goons, coming to Heroes of the Storm. Tonight, we've got two amazing guests on me. It is a Blank Hots again, who's just disconnected. You did that last week as well. That was amazing. Blank Hots, streamer, competitive player for Team DC. And after last night's episode results, Blank Hots, does DC stand for Don't Continue?
No, I'm actually not a member of Team DC. I was just filling for them for the night. Yeah, I'm just a random fill-in player at the moment. I don't have a team, guys.
Sure, mate. Excuses.
Freelance agent.
Freelance agent available
Mercenary
for anyone
camp.
who needs to thrower.
Here to throw your games whenever you need.
Here to throw your games when we have got the advantage. Always here.
All right, beautiful. That is, and also joining on the stream tonight is a category. What is going on? Welcome to Heroes
What's
Untapped.
up?
Now you're a bit more. Not say that you're unusual guest for the Heroes Untapped series, but
no, I'm definitely unusual.
Well, you're less on the competitive side, and you're more on the let's call it the enjoyment side, but content creation as well.
Exactly, pretty much.
But when was the last time? What was your last content piece for Heroes of the Storm?
You know what? That is a very good question. I don't remember myself.
That's how long it's been. It's been so long.
I would have made something on Garrosh if I actually gave a damn about him.
Oh, you don't like Gary?
Damn about
I
Gary.
don't particularly like Garrosh.
What don't you like about Gary?
I don't like heroes that are good.
Call me a racist, but I don't like orcs.
Okay.
Is it racist if you say it about fictitious things, like fantasy creatures, like they don't exist?
Well, they count as a race.
We just stay away from
the philosophical discussion.
Any of that sort of discussion.
All right, guys. Anyway, we've got a big show for you tonight. We are talking about we're talking about a lot of things, but we're talking about the new hero coming to Heroes of the Storm, the biggest, I'm going to say the most wanted, probably the biggest iconic character to really come to Heroes of the Storm. He's so massive, his title reigns for days. I'm not going to go through it because I accidentally closed down the website with him on. But Kel'Thuzad is coming to Heroes of the Storm.
No, let's call it by let's really call it by its full name. Kel'Thuzad, the Archlich of Naxxramas, esteemed Lich Lord of the Plague Lands, commander of the Dread Necropolis, master and founder of the Cult of the Damned, formerly of the Council of Six, creator of the Abomination, corrupter of the Sunwell, summoner of Archibald, the Defiler, betrayer of humanity, founder of the first Dark Master of the Scholarmans, School of Dark Arts and Necromancy, creator and master of the Four Horsemen, corrupter of the Asperger, Hearthstone enthusiast, and caring owner of Mr. Bigglesworth the Cat. The major domo of the Lich King himself, Kel'Thuzad.
You forgot one title, Hearthstone enthusiast.
I did say Hearthstone enthusiast. I may have stumbled through it.
That's all right. That was an impressive category. Did you read that off the website?
Yes, I did.
I thought that was a bit too well done to be remembered.
Rehearsed. So he's making a big play into it, and he's gonna be even I back 2 years ago was saying, where's KT? The real KT. Don't give me.
I think everyone was saying that.
So he's pretty. I think even in the original design, like when they showed all the heroes lined up, like they had about 50 back in the day. He was one of the clay models in the background, or one of the grey models. So I think he's been in development for a long time. I mean, he's so iconic that they're releasing a 5-part documentary series on bringing Kel'Thuzad back, resurrecting him from the dead for HOTS. Oh my god! So let's get into it. He's a new hero. Blank, we talked about him the other day, but let's get your take on him. Take us through Kel'Thuzad. What is he?
Well, like you said, we did have a bit of a theory craft session with him on stream the other day. It was only a couple of days ago now, but there was a couple of things that we lacked. And what was the main thing that we mentioned, Disco, that we lacked? We needed more information. We didn't have all the information. We had poorly worded abilities. What is Frozen Tomb? Have we even got an answer for that yet?
You know, we don't actually have a direct answer, but the Spotlight video that was released today, I think today or last night, whenever, it highlights, oh my god, Frost Blast, is it?
Yeah.
Frostblight.
Blast,
It
yeah.
gives it a lot more information, which is good.
And it's just, oh god, it's so amazing. High, like Kel'Thuzad, high burst, CC, like high burst lockdown mage.
Yeah,
Like
that's pretty much exactly what we described him as.
He's-
We
and he's
went through all of
insane.
this stuff. We
friend
needed
of
more
mine-
information on the range of it. We needed the range of the chains.
Yep.
I mean, we talked about all of this the other night, but we're going to talk about it again because now we've got that information. We've got a lot more to go into with it. So
A friend of mine actually
notes.
compared him as like a Frost version of the old KT, now forever known as Kale. Right?
mm,
He seems kind of like that. This kind of
Oh,
high burst,
no.
no escape damage.
Nah.
No,
No,
no, I
it's not,
totally,
dude.
totally disagree with
You,
that.
know, you totally
totally
disagree?
disagree.
I will say
Yeah,
that
he's
Frost Blast.
completely
So
different.
yeah, I'd say like there are some similarities. So just a quick rundown for those of you. We're not going to go into like the full theory crafting we did the other night, but quick rundown of Kel'Thuzad. So he's a mage. He focuses. He's got a great quest talent that's built in. It's his trait. Every
Yeah.
time he hits with two of his abilities, he stacks up a thing called Blight. When you hit 15, he gets cooldown reduction. When he hits 30 of this stack, he gets a huge 75% spell damage increase. That in itself
That's
is massive. His abilities are a Death and Decay, so an AoE skill shot. If you hit someone with it, it bursts into AoE damage on the field, Death and Decay. The next one is a Ring of Frost, which is targetable. So it doesn't extend from himself. He can actually fire it out of himself. Anyone hit in the center gets locked in place. Anyone hit on the outside is slowed. And then his last ability is his chains. I can't remember what it's called. He basically
Chains of Kel'Thuzad.
so
Yeah.
good. He chains the target, you reactivate it, and it flies to another it flies to a structure or another character, another hero, and it pulls them towards each other, and it's a micro stun at the end of it. That's his abilities very quickly in a nutshell.
You saw the spotlight video. We had a couple of things we wanted to like figure out with the chains. Like with the chains themselves, you can target them, you throw them at an enemy hero, and then you can retarget them to connect something else. We were wondering what the range was. It looks like once you've targeted it, it can essentially double the range because you can target it from that hero for the same distance, and you can target it and chain them to buildings. There's a talent you can pull up a spike and you can chain them to the spike.
Yeah.
Yeah, an activatable spike that also,
Yeah.
that also counts as a wall. Like it blocks movement, so that's pretty cool.
He's just looking up to be like a really powerful character. You know, that's the basis of the kit. So I guess what are your general thoughts on the kits together? And actually, we haven't even talked about his heroics just yet, but just
Not
the
really, no.
kit in general. What do you feel like about Karate? Actually brought up a good point in chat. He's a burst mage with massive CC. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, when I think of a burst character with CC, I think of Valera, and then I'm thinking, oh god, this is gonna be horrible.
Well, Valera is a kind of a burst character. She's got some CC,
but-
yeah.
The thing, I think the difference
mage.
is because every ability has some sort of a delay. Even the chains have a delay, sort of. Like it's you have CC, but you have to be they're all skill shots. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's probably sort of balanced. But according to I think it was Pally time, you could probably do some 6,000 ish burst damage by level 20, something like that.
Yeah.
With some weird combo. Yeah, that sounds crazy, man. But otherwise, I don't think it's gonna be as bad. We'll see.
Well, there's that other talent that he's now brought out, which allows him to come back from the dead as well, which is pretty cool. But we haven't really touched.
Or something like
Yeah,
that.
something
Yeah.
like that. We haven't really touched on the
Level 4.
ultis yet, Disco. But now that we've seen the spotlight video, now that we've seen them in gameplay to an extent, which do you think is going to be? Do you still stick by what you said the other night, where Frost Blast is going to be the pick of choice?
Yeah, so it's comparing both his abilities. So still trying to learn the names of his the Frost Blast. His other one, which is
Shadow Fisher.
Shadow Fisher, it's just pure damage, and it's a ton of damage. And obviously, the right team composition is always going to be massive to use. But
Don't forget it's global.
and it's global.
is.
But the Frost Blast tracks. You can't escape it, whatever the main target is. So the main target's
it's an
gonna
icy pyroblast.
yeah, and that's a similarity to KT. I'll say that's a big similarity to
Yeah.
KT. except that it's got more of an impact because it will slow and stop enemies around the target. It's going to do a ton of damage with 75% spell increase. I think you're going to find there's just going to be more situations where that is better, unless you've got a big lockdown composition like your ETC Mosh Pits. Obviously, Shadow Fisher I think is going to reign supreme. Maybe Frost Blast might still be pretty good in that situation because you are doing CC into more base CC. So,
or you could use it as an engage for ETC's Mosh Pit.
Yeah, I feel it's got a bit more play potential. I'm like, if you
got a
build
lot
around
more
Shadow
potential.
Fisher, it's going to be good. But
The thing about Shadow Fisher that I like is because it's a global, you could probably use it to at least, well, not lock down things like Cursed Hollow tributes, but you could at least stop them for like the first bit.
Yeah. His poke, technically you could say his poke game maybe isn't going to be as strong because everything is slightly delayed. But I don't know. Look, I think we all sort of had a little bit of a chat. We don't want to lock ourselves in for an hour conversation about KT.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
I think we all love.
I just also want to bring up, like, I think Palytime also brought up the idea that maybe he can also be a bit of a sustain hero. Supposedly his Q build can reduce the cooldown of his Death and Decay down to some absurd number, like I think it's like 1.5 seconds, which seems wow.
And until we actually see proper release of the talents or him in actual PTR where we've got some gameplay with him, we won't know for sure.
He was just using try mode, but even then, like, I think we were seeing some theory crafting of about 1.5 seconds, and you also couple that with his shade ability at level 20. That's 2 Death and Decays every 1.5 seconds.
The only thing I'd say about because the video did give the shade at 20, the only trouble I saw with that is that will the Death and Decays actually stack and do their sets amount of damage? That's
I think it would be very similar. I think it's going to be similar to Tassadar's when he can recast it.
Yeah, well, they didn't quite show it in the video exactly because they showed the shade hitting Illidan slightly offset to the other character. So there might be a bit of a skill setup there because you have to kind of have your shade be in a position to hit a different hero at it to kind of cause the extra Death and Decay do damage. I don't know. We don't have all the information. Can't wait for him on the PTR.
Plus, the shade actually stands still.
Yeah.
Like once a team fight sort of moves somewhere else, your shade's useless. I think.
I think we've got about
15 seconds.
I think we've got about 2 weeks. Very quickly, yes or no answer. Is KT going to be competitive?
Yes.
I think so. I don't see why not.
Fuck yes, he's going to be competitive.
Is he going to be competitive?
he's either going to be competitive or just consistently picked, like all the time, or consistently banned all the time.
Yeah, it will be either. I think that is right, especially early stages once it's released, because it seems pretty OP. I don't want to say the N word, but I do see a nerf coming out from pretty quickly to nullify some of that damage.
N-word.
I know.
After everyone's brought them, after everyone's dropped those crystals.
75% extra damage. That's insane.
Quick yes or no? Go on.
You go.
Oh no! I was just asking a question. Okay. Just yes or no question. Hypothesis: do you reckon he can solo boss camps?
That's something I'll leave up to you, Katagari. You're the master of soloing.
I don't think he'll be able to do it. I think he'll be too weak because he is a mage at the end of the day. There's no mage in the game that can do it at the moment, is there? Maybe
Jaina could.
Yeah.
Jaina could. I don't know if she still can. I'll have to check it again.
Well, we've touched a lot about KT already. The real KT. Disco. We've had a couple of event/quests in the past talking about KT. What are your thoughts on this current quest they've brought out with him?
Look, I like the quests in Heroes of the Storm. I think they're cool. I think they're engaging. I think the events they do in Heroes of the Storm are shit, but this is the big Call of Kel'Thuzad event. It goes from the 5th to the 25th of next month, whatever month that it's in bed. What, September is it? September. It's a whole month event. It's the re-release of a big iconic character. You get flags, you get profile icons. Rah. What do you have to do? You just
play KT.
Play a game. Get some kills. And like the quests feel really. It feels really underwhelming. These events in Heroes of the Storm. It's like, give us a map. give us like I think the Butcher quest was probably one of the best ones because we actually got a new map as well. But give us a map, give us a brawl arena, give us you know, I don't know, give us some more, make it an event. You know, for World of Warcraft when they ran events, you actually went and did shit. You know, Overwatch, you get this big Lucio ball. You know, you get the summer game. Let's all go play a modified super version of Overwatch. I'm trying to think what they do for Diablo. Who cares? It's Diablo anyway. But
Seasons, I suppose.
yeah, well, whatever the fuck they do in Diablo, shit franchise at the moment. But the Heroes of the Storm, the events are just so
Bland.
you get a quest. Yeah, you get to do the same thing day in day out as you're doing before, but you get you don't even have to be a particular hero, right? I know some quests you do, but for this one, you don't have to be a particular hero.
Are you sure? It doesn't.
The first one
doesn't actually say. The first one, it says you just have to play a game with Kel'Thuzad present on either team.
Yeah,
So-
which you will.
But the other
You
ones
will,
talk
because
about
it's
the other
special.
ones just talk about
Takedowns.
Takedowns. You just have to
That's
be
it.
killing
Yeah.
heroes.
Just takedowns. You have to
Yeah.
kill heroes. Does that mean
Yeah.
it has to? It doesn't specify whether it's with KT
Oh,
or
I don't think it
whether it's
will
with
be. No.
any hero.
I mean that would be
As of
that would
right
be
now,
cancerous.
the wording is very vague. The wording is
With
very
KT.
vague.
On the month they release KT, you can only finish the quest by playing as KT.
Well,
my
that
God, the
means queue
queues.
time- The
There
queue
would
times are going to
be
be like
no
tens of
queues.
thousands of seconds long.
I mean, it might be okay for like another region, but ANZ as a
Not
region,
even-
we
not
talked
even a
about this
major
last
region.
week.
Not even in
We
another
have
region, I
terrible
think.
queues at the moment. What if
Yeah.
everyone has to
What?
play Kelly T?
What a great way! What a great way to make money. If you want to play HOTS, you've got to pick KT.
And suddenly the entire server just shuts down because nobody's going to get any matches anyway.
Because
What's the point?
no one's playing. 'Cause I doubt you'd have to play KT for it. That'd be cancerous.
No, that
Cho'Gall
wouldn't make
wasn't
any
too
sense.
bad because it was two heroes, the weird
Yeah.
thing, so I could understand that. And he was
Spread the Cho'Gall.
and Cho'Gall was kind of good, kind of not. But KT, he's going to be good off the bat. So yeah, it's I like the quest. I think it's cool. I love the fact that you have to get like, you know, was it like 30, 60, 90 takedowns, varying quests. I think that's really cool. And takedowns are kind of hard. As long as they restrict it to
as long as
takedowns
they
and not
are
assists.
restricting it to takedowns, not assists included.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as an event, oh my God, Blizzard, please do something more, because
Give us something.
it doesn't. I hope they do some arenas. I hope they release something to make
Well-
it feel like an event.
If they made a brawl based around this, that would be good because we already have the brawl. That is an event per
Yeah.
se. It's a difference on the game. It's
Mm.
slightly different gameplay. The Nova one's fun, where you snipe. You've got your ARAMs, you've got your Garden of Terror ones. There are a heap of different brawls. The
Mm.
Stitches pool party, for example.
Oh, that was the best.
That was so much
That
fun.
was so good, yeah.
We spent like our team we spent like a couple of hours mucking around trying to get ourselves all hooked over to the other side of the pool, so we're on the enemy side, and we just kill them one after a time as they spawn. It's fun. You do stupid shit and you have fun with it. That's an event.
Hmm.
That's what you'd want out of an event like this. Bring out a Kelly T bloody brawl
Yeah.
that we can use to get these quests done instead of just kill people. Well done.
How about a KT themed pool party where like you have to like throw up an icicle thing that is his one at some point, and then you have to like throw chains all over the place to try and grab people.
Well, pool party's been done, but
I don't know, something like that.
That
Can
would be
be
pretty.
always
That would be pretty cool. You could have like zones. Like
Yeah.
you'd have zones around
I don't
little
know.
floating islands or something. Yeah.
are we now game creators? Are we game creators now? Let's do this.
We're just giving examples. Like it's one thing to say Blizzard make your stuff better. There's another thing to make your stuff better. We don't have any details.
Yeah.
Just
Make stuff better, but we don't
I don't know
why.
why I know why your game's shit, but I don't know how to make it better. Just fix it. So that's that's a Call of Cthulhu event. I personally, I think it's a bit broad. I mean, don't call something an event if it's not actually an interesting
Really an event.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Fair enough.
Agreed.
But that is the the bunch of cool things coming to Heroes of the Storm next month.
Oh, meanwhile, what do you guys think about the new skins coming? Dreadlord Jaina,
Oh, the
Oh,
Dreadlord
yeah, I
Jane
forgot
skin
about
looks
those.
pretty mad.
Dreadlord Jaina, Crypt Queen Zagara. I want to see what extra stuff Crypt Queen Zagara does. Like, hopefully we get some undead Zerg skins. I don't know how that's going to work, but
Yeah.
I didn't know that I needed the Zazara Crypt skin until I saw it and
Yeah.
and it just looks really good. Like it's I'm actually really impressed with it. It's
Yeah.
I always hate Zagara looking like a Zerg, but whenever they put her in like a little bit half human form, I mean, I guess it's just appealing, right? You know, I don't like female aliens, but hey, you know, it's like lady,
That's
you know?
racist.
Desert
Disco.
Queen, Desert Babe, more like.
Yeah, but yeah, I think they're all good. Even the Sonya Death Knight, the worst one of the lot, doesn't look too bad either.
As
That's
long as long as with the skins they do bring out the themed abilities, whereas we get a lot of skins where they don't have those themed abilities. They just the same abilities, but hey, look, you look kind of different. These
Or even-
skins would be so
Yeah.
much better with themed abilities. They can't not bring these sexy skins out without them having themed abilities.
Here's the hoping, because I actually haven't seen any Crypt Queen Zagara footage yet, so I don't know. I'm really hoping for some undead banelings and stuff. That'd be
Dreadlord
really
Jaina.
nice.
If you go to BattleNet, I'm pretty sure they got like it's just an image of Zagara, and it's probably what her model's gonna look like. I'm pretty sure it's a in-game.
Yeah, I've
model
seen
or
her
good
model, sort of. Yeah.
I mean,
That's-
it might look
yeah.
stupid from overhead. Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
But anyway, so
Anyway.
Also,
we
I
won't
hope they give Dreadlord Jaina the wings for her mount. That's absolutely necessary.
Which mount?
Dreadlord Jaina. You know
She's
how
getting
like
a mount.
no, I just hope, because you know how like
you want it, yeah.
the Batwing Arthas, the Batman Arthas skin, you mount, you can change
Oh,
it
the
to a
Count
bat.
Arthas when he turns
Yeah,
into
Count
like from a
Arthas.
vampire
Yeah.
into a bat when he flies.
Yeah.
Or Kerrigan, you mean? And how?
Yeah, Countess
how-
Kerrigan. Yeah.
How would you do it with the Dreadlord Jaina? She's not
I
that
don't know.
kind of a hero.
Still though, she's a Dreadlord. She's essentially a vampire. You could change her to a bat. I don't know.
Yeah, could work.
You've got
Yeah,
tons
another
of
bat,
characters
sure, why
that
not?
float off the ground or something, right? So Jaina could literally
Yeah.
just hunch over.
She could just float.
Yeah, just fly. Like Yoshi
Just
hunches
fly with her
forward
Yeah,
and wings.
that'd be good.
Kind
Gee,
of
if only
like
we could do
Like
that
this
with all the
animation,
angels.
Blizzard, exactly like this.
Yeah, just can we get a clip of Disco doing these ones?
Yeah, just be like like that.
Yeah, well, think
Yeah.
about like Illidan with his I can't remember the name of the bloody ability.
Metamorphosis, but the level 21.
Yeah, the level 20 metamorphosis where he he can mount as that and just fly. That would be cool as her mount.
Yeah.
Enough about the skins.
Anyway, yeah, let's move on.
All right.
There's
like,
plenty of stuff to talk about.
Well, like I said, those are the two. That's the big event for next month.
Mm.
Iconic. The documentaries coming out how they made KT. Let's hope the event becomes a bit bigger. Who knows? But let's bring up the big action this week in the HGC Week 3 of Swish Play. But it was also the Week 2 playoffs. And
Yes, it was.
I think oh, this is really cool. So I'll just let me get them up so we can look at the,
The standings.
the standings. My browser's gone rogue on me now. Where is it? There we go.
Oh,
I hate
no.
challenge sometimes. It's so messy. All right, so where are you? Oh my god. There we go. Yeah. So this is I think this is really cool and it's really good for the scene. So week 1, we actually saw Nomia come out on top. They were number 1 placement or number 1 seed, and Darksided actually fell to them, and they became they were number 2.
seed.
They both had pretty much flawless sets until they fought each other. Blah blah. This week we actually see a flip. It's actually Nomia lost to Darksided. Now Darksided are in the top spot, which effectively equals both sides out on league points or ladder points. But I think that is really good for the scene to see that already so early in the season that there is a big contender for Nomia, and they're not just it's not just going to be a one-sided season. The full standings for this week's play were Darksided in first place, Nomia second, Crimson third. Equal positioning from how the system works with NMD, Mad Because Bad in fifth, alongside Milkshake, FTD in 7, and Ground Zero of 7's plays. That's the actual event of the night, guys, not the actual league standings themselves.
Yeah. I was going to say that's not how last night played out with next week's playoffs already.
So that was last night. So we saw Mad Because Bad, Milkshake, FTD, and Ground Zero go back into the Division 2 meat grinder to try and prove that they could win through. Just before we go and talk about Division 2, anything in Division 1 that really stood out to you guys, if you did see it, Yeah, anything.
Well, I one thing I did want to note was that yes, Darksided did topple Nomiya, which was their their biggest hurdle that they've had so far in the couple of seasons we've had with the two teams colliding. But Nomiya were playing without John. John wasn't able to play. Rumor was he had a date. Congratulations, buddy. If it's true, whatever. But they were playing with a sub. They had Jim Jam subbing in.
Yep.
Which made them have to adjust the way they played, who they played, what heroes, etc., etc. Having Jim Jam fill that Li Ming role most of the time, from what I saw, and a lot of the time it worked. Against Darksided, I think they mixed things up a little bit. They played really strong in the second game and made it even, and then that third game it just went the way of Darksided. So. Yeah, it was good. It was good to watch. It was fun. But yeah, we do have to take into account that we're playing with a sub. Darksided had their full roster. We saw Robodoba back on that tank role, which was something we did talk with Morton about last week, about how Rob has joined the team. He's gone into that melee role. They spent him on that solo lane as the solo lane role, let them just do their 4-man thing, and he just do what he needed to do. That didn't work with them for the one of the games they played, and then they switched him onto the Muradin. They switched him into that tank role, and he performed as like he was riding a bike, you know.
Yeah. Well, and that's no surprise. That's what Robodo has done for like the last 2 years when he was playing for Nomiya, is the tank position. So yeah, I wonder if that's going to stay. I wonder if that's going to be the thing going forward, because I believe he was trying out assassin or playing as an assassin. So I guess we'll see where the Robodoba careers go off. So next week in the finals for the final or the playoffs for week 3, I guess. Do you think that Nomiya, once that full roster, it will be like they'll beat Darksided? Is that kind of what you're trying to do?
No, I'm not saying that's what I'm. That's not exactly what I mean. I think that it's still pretty even, and like I said with Morton last week, it is still really early to tell between the two of them. They've both had roster changes, Darksided included, getting Robin. Vicarak died for this, and Nomiya. Sorry, I had to say. Nomiya having their roster changes, losing that Arcana, losing the Rob. And not last night before, losing John just for the week. And so I think that it will balance out. They will be pretty evenly matched, and they will be some of the tightest games that we will see across the rest of the season.
Still probably make a far better matchup when both teams are at their full strength, not having someone who is subbing in. So
yes, true.
Interesting.
Well, even then, with pretty close games.
It'll probably be a far better comparison then. Then we'll have a better answer. Yeah,
I do agree. It's been so hard every week. It's like, well, maybe next week we'll find out. Maybe next week we'll find out.
It's really a
so Darksided. None of you have to like go on dates and stuff. Okay, you all have to like stay at home.
Well, I mean, if the season plays out how it's going, I mean, it looks like it's going to be a Nomiya and Darksided finals. We're only 2 weeks in, but like the results from the first week were obviously Nomiya, Darksided, Crimson. Yeah, it was Nomiya, Darksided, Crimson, and NMD. This week, it's effectively the same thing, just with Nomiya and Darksided switching first and second. So potentially, you know, it's at the moment you'd be saying that they're regardless of what their strength, that they seem to be on top. Moving on to Division 2. So, like we said, Eternal Esports, Ground Zero, Mad Because Bad, and Pocket Me Lighter had to go back into the meat grinder in the week 3. It's a little bit confusing. Week 2 playoffs, but we're actually talking about the week 3 Division 2.
Yep.
And we saw Mad Because Bad having a flawless night to easily get back into Division 1 playoffs for next week. Milkshake, same thing, but we saw a little bit of an upset. Home Wreckers has come in and are placed on the ladder, forcing Pocket Me Lighter and Ground Zero to have a tiebreaker match. And it was a pretty good tiebreaker match, but Pocket Me Lighter has come through on top.
Too strong.
I also heard about this from my friends who are actually probably the Home Wreckers. If I remember correctly,
Home Wreckers? Your friends are Home Wreckers.
Yeah, my friends are the Home Wreckers. If I remember correctly, it's like it's touched me and half of his team who were I can't remember who they were anymore.
Ethereal.
Ethereal, yeah, and Holy Grail and half
Yep.
of his team. They just decided to merge together, so it seems to be a pretty potent group of peeps.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
you go
Just
on.
wrecking homes.
Yeah, home wrecking.
well, they did. I mean, they caused a little bit of an upset in the bottom four, you could say, in that regards, because they've knocked Ground Zero out, who are quite a strong team in Ground Zero. A quick check of their players again. It's basically what Scripps and Scrubs from last season with changes. Bob Cow plays an amazing. Like every character he plays is pretty good. Obviously, Scripps, Bunts, Chase, and Superstition. Like good team, but Homewreckers, yeah, it's upset the standings from the first week. So now Ground Zero miss out on those juicy league points.
They do. Just missed out. The tiebreaker was really good, but like you said, and like we've said already, Pocket Light were just too strong. It was awesome seeing Garrosh in play, not just in that particular game, the tiebreaker, but throughout the night.
Yeah.
I know that you were salivating the whole night about the Gary plays there, Disco. You love your Garrosh. I still haven't played any games with him, so you're still the most experienced out of all of us here.
Yeah, you are.
But Nicky Webster on that Garrosh was bloody fantastic. A couple of times you guys called it. He just didn't have faith that he was actually going to get that kill, so they backed off, and it was there. You had it. It was there.
Yeah,
but just so strong on that Garrosh.
So
I
many
was
clips. There was another one
impressed.
as well. I think is who else was it? Was
one of the first games?
Yeah, Azog the
Azog the cat.
Yeah, Azog the cat.
Azog
That's
the
it.
cat.
Azog the
best.
cat, yes.
The best Gary of the night. Like he's
For milkshakes.
Yeah, they've been really putting in a lot of effort on that character, and you can see it because they just know when they're going to get those grabs, those attacks, throw the wall. I think Garrosh is going to be a cool character for denying those compositions that try and get those that try and have like heavy lane pressure, because he can just pick up someone who's wailing on a tower and go, hey, why don't you go say hello to the fortification?
tower.
Yeah. Go eat the tower, the fortification on the other side.
Yeah, it's scary playing Zagara even like against the Garrosh, because you're like, oh, I'm gonna go kill this tower, and you're like, no, you're going to kiss it now.
Yeah.
Ow! Can't run away.
Well, I mean, I used to play with the guys in Pocket Lighter, and I've never seen Nicky Webster play Garrosh. So seeing him in that game playing Garrosh, it was just impressive as hell. I was going to swear there, but I won't. But watching it, like at the very end of the game, there he just like grabs Greymane, throws him at the enemy team, and just goes, "There you go, have some fun, buddy."
Yeah.
Bye bye everyone. And that was game there. So yeah, Garrosh has had some play. But yeah, they, like you said, Pocket Lighter did win that, taking it from Ground Zero. Ground Zero have been strong, but unfortunately it wasn't to be for that thing. So yes, Mad Because Bad, Milkshake, Homewreckers, and Pocket Lighter going through to the playoffs next Tuesday night. I think that's pretty solid there. How do you find NMD in regard to, sorry, back to the top tier again? NMD, they're still kind of out of nowhere, aren't they?
Oh, look, they are. No, like, the team's kind of out of nowhere, right? So it is.
Yeah.
It is the team that Vicarak has moved to or has gone and joined to set up. But this is we're talking about Vicarak, we're talking about La Hole, Physics, Ninja, Hiccup, High Cup. How you say his name? I don't know.
Hiccup.
I'll never say it right.
Hiccup.
And blame Babel. Babel's screwed that up for all of us. He was the caster that was he? Yeah, I'm gonna just say it was him anyway.
I don't know.
It was some caster somewhere that screwed it up for me. But anyway, but that team, it's a pretty solid lineup of members. I mean, because they're kind of like all haven't really played together with each other except for this season. I think there's a lot of synergy dropped or going to be lost in that regards. But La Hole was on the team for Negative Synergy back in the LAN last year. So he's got LAN experience, not necessarily international, but he's got LAN experience in the homegrown. Vicarak used to play alongside Arcana years ago. So he's, Physics there's always been Physics. Physics has always been around. Hiccups, again, he was a part of the Immunity Black split that happened right at the start of Heroes of the Storm. Seasoned player, Ninjas XXL5, and oh no, Ninjas XXL5, and he was playing on Nomia. Not Nomia. What were they before? He was
Reborn.
playing, Reborn Ninja. Yeah. Ninja was playing. That was Ninja, right? I'm talking about the right
Pretty
guy.
sure. I think so. I think so. I don't know.
If it's the same Ninja, it might not be.
it
Sometimes
might be a
it
different.
match, yeah. On challenge is called Zero Ninja, so maybe it's not the same. I don't know. As I'm a bit iffy about that one, but like everywhere else, they're really. It's a good solid lineup. If you said to me, "Hey, these guys are making a team," it has surprised me, but they're all good. Like they're all good players. And it shows they're in the top 4. If the LAN ends up being, I know I've been talking for a long time, if the LAN ends up being the top 4 teams in the ANZ region, they'll be going to it.
Oh, I tend to agree with you. Well, they are, if it's in the top 4, yeah. What else can we say? Unless someone like, well, that's something that's going to hinder. Actually, if we're going back, let's jump back down to the second bracket again. Home Wreckers, they're going to be in the playoffs next week. But it was the first week they've played as Home Wreckers. They are Ethereal, essentially, and FTD put together, which FTD didn't play last week, and neither did Pocket Me Lighter in the Swiss bracket. So what's going to happen then with Home Wreckers? They can't take FTD's points or Ethereal's points from the previous games. They're a good team. They're a solid bunch. They could probably take down maybe Crimson, some of the top teams. I think that they have the chance to do that. They are skilled enough, but because they are so late into the competition, I don't know that they'll have the final amount to get through. Does that make sense?
Yeah, they're sort of just.
Is it just wasting numbers?
Well, I guess one of the biggest issues I find with the GameStar event is that I think the number or the pools are too small, or it's too tight. To the sense that once you've been locked down, I think they're starting to talk about it in chat. That once you're locked, like kind of after the first or second week, or even after the third week, it's done. There's unless someone like Nomia didn't show up for 3 weeks, there's no way they could never not have enough points if they just kept coming third, coming fourth, coming fifth. They're accumulating enough points to stay in that nice situation. So and that's the only issue. But that may not be an issue there, but that's just how it is. That's the process.
Are they then possibly a team like that holding back a team that could have been in there?
Well, that's potential talking point. Is that has Home Wreckers prevented, or Pocket Me Lighter or something like that, prevented another team that
Ground Zero?
Well, not to say that they don't deserve to be there, but we're in that weird situation. I personally, if you said, well, how could we fix this situation? How could we fix it? I would like to see a playoff series. I'd like to go, hey, the top 4 that the top 4 that are the top 4 of the season, or maybe top 6, have a final series, and the top 2 winners. Actually, anyone that's watched the AFL, Australian Football League, that's what they do. They have an entire season of league play, and the top 8 go to a finals, and it's the top 8 playoff, and those who finish on the top of the ladder get advantages through the bracket. That's what I think we really need at the end of something like this. So a team that can go, hey, we could scrape into 4th place. We'll start week 3 and we'll get 4th, but we can still go through a playoff series and make it. Have a little bit, say, more incentive for them than just look. We've hit week 3, week 4. There's nothing we can do to win. Yeah. We're screwed. Let's continue to play for skins. That's the reward. It's for skins playing in the top.
What
division.
happened last year? I mean, not taking away from Hots for 2 seconds and going to AFL, but look what happened to the Bulldogs. There was a bye before the first week of the finals. They were the bottom of the ladder in terms of the finals, so they were 8th in placement. So they didn't get the other double chance eliminations that the other teams had, and they won the grand final.
Yeah.
That it's that kind of a thing that could work in this sort of a system with the Swiss, where the top 8 teams go through. Like, we've got our top 4 pretty much locked in. The next 4 under that, with the amount of points accumulated over the course of that, then go through to the playoffs as well, do the double elimination playoff, and top 4 teams from that particular playoff then go through to LAN.
Or something. Just to have, I think there needs to be a little bit more to it. It's not to bash on it. It's been one of the better seasons we've had. Like it's just as a format, it's one of the better ones we've had. Just has a couple of things. Even if it's like top 6 or something, or I don't know.
I don't know. We're just spitballing here.
Well, I know in the I know one of the GameStar's directions. I don't know if it's like say locked in, but I think one of the directions they wanted to go in was the top the top 4 from this season, or I think the format they're really after is the top. I shouldn't be speaking on behalf of GameStars. I'm not going to say it.
No,
I'm putting words in other people's mouths.
Let's. You can stop if you want.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this was early on. This was early on conversations and stuff. So I'm not gonna speak. I'm not gonna fuck that up. Mess it up.
Quick question. Just a
Yeah,
quick
go for
question though. Since Home Records is made, it's sort of half made with members from what was it, FTD?
Mm.
Yeah. There's not going to be some sort of weird. What is it?
Points carryover.
No, not just points carryover, but like a conflict. There's not going to be some weird conflict of interest that shows up, right? Because one team is made up of half of another team.
Only,
I don't know.
I mean, only if it gets political between the teams and they don't continue on with as the
No, but
current
like
group.
is it possible at all for Home Records to end up facing off against FTD, or are they just too far away from each other right now? I don't really. Or am I thinking of two different things right now?
That's right. I know what you're trying to say. Did they?
Yeah.
The players, it's a slightly different group of players, and unless the other team, say, comes back or commits, I mean, you can't be on 2 teams at once.
Yeah.
So you'll find the rosters are separated rosters.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So they'd have different,
Okay, yeah.
Holy Grail, how does the NAEU HG system work? They get a ton of fucking money for doing it.
That's how it works.
That's the incentive. It's literally, hey, we're going to pay your team XYZ to play in a six-week league. Win or lose, it doesn't matter. You've been paid and you're contractually there to play. Plus, there's, obviously you get to come back next season if you do well enough and you get to go to the playoff series. And then you get to go into the Crucible, so there's a ton of other stuff in the way. But the one thing that makes it different is like, well, why do you want to be in top 8 if you're not the number 1 position, number 1 seed in the HGC, in the NAEU? It's because you get money, you get paid to do it. It's a different kettle of fish than in here in Australia, where we're voluntary. I mean, the AFL, why don't the low-ranked teams halfway through the season that suck and scored no points continue
Just
playing?
wave the white flag, yeah.
Because they're fucking excuse me, language. They're contracted. They're contracted as a club to provide a team each week to play. As one point, do it for the fans, do it for the training and the experience and all the other bits and pieces.
Money.
But at the end of the day, it's a bit about the money.
Do it for the lols.
We don't have the money thing in here in the ANZ region, so we need to look at alternative. Well, we could look at alternative routes. I mean, the enjoyment. There's the enjoyment factor. Just do it for enjoyment, and a lot of people do it for enjoyment. That's perfectly fine. Maybe we're trying to think too big. But anyway, we talked way too much about that. That's it. Exciting times next week. Yep. Just very quickly. We don't need to do anything quickly. That's enough.
No, we don't need to clear that this one.
All right.
Now, this is potentially a big subject. Let's not talk about it all, but we have to bring up today's balance changes and just count the amount of changes. It was like 2, 4, 6. Was it 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14? That's 13 heroes have had balance changes today.
Yeah.
I mean, have you had a good look at the balance changes category? I know you haven't played HOTS very much for the last couple of weeks or the last month, really. But what is your take on the balance changes?
Well, just looking at them, and looking also at like the general feedback on sites like Reddit and and similar. First off, I think the Zagara change and the Tassar change we could just ignore them. They're pretty much meaningless. Maybe
Zagara,
RIP too. Yep. The Zagara change is practically
It's
meaningless.
practically nothing. Yep, go on.
The Tacita change, maybe the base changes are kind of they're practically meaningless. The Kadaran Resonance still kind of really annoying quest to use, so practically meaningless. Yeah. Otherwise, big things mainly are the Oriole changes, which some people have said are not good, but I think I have no idea whether they're good or not yet because I haven't played them. You know, so we'll see. Some people don't like them. And the Butcher changes, which I think are totally necessary, specifically the reduction in meat that he gets after killing a hero. I've seen a Butcher get his stacks in like 5 minutes. It was insane.
I think last night we had a Butcher at full
Let's
stacks.
not talk about Butcher. Let's not talk about.
Yeah,
Butcher.
let's not talk about Butcher because
Not
he's
talk
all
about Butcher,
he's
please.
all over the place.
Please, I'm having nightmares right here, Disco.
Oh, no, I'm just saying, like, I think last time we had like a 3-minute game where a Butcher was fully stacked. Like, just how
Yeah.
much meat he gets.
That's what it used to happen, and now it doesn't because he loses more meat on death. Only 5 more meat, but he also gains like 5 less meat on hero kills. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
That seems to be the main, for want of a better word, meat of his changes.
Well, I think there are a couple of changes there that are pretty noted. Like, I mean, you mentioned Zagara, you could almost dismiss that change, but at the same time, if you play Zagara, it is a pretty big change. If you spec into the hero damage that you take from the Mutalisk, it's like the Zagara
healing.
giant killer to be like.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a Zagara version of giant killer. Reducing its duration by 15 seconds is a fuckload. Pardon
Actually,
it's 15 seconds. It's reducing its duration 45 to 30 seconds. So
except it only affects Mutalisk.
Yes, that's the Mutalisk though, but it's reducing its duration for 15 seconds. So it's.
I don't think you can really make that comparison.
No, you're right. That's the same talent tier as the.
It's the same talent tier, yeah.
Killer. Shut up.
Because
Trevor.
let's be honest, if Mutalisk could
Trevor.
do, because if Mutalisk could do percent health damage, that would just be absolutely broken.
That would be so fun.
The reason why they probably made this change is because they don't want Mutalisk that could go from one side of the map to the other side of the map.
Yeah.
Which they have been trying to do for a while now. Remember when Zagara's rework came out, it used to be that Mutalisk stay forever! And then they changed that to 45 seconds. And now they reduced it to 30 seconds. Eventually they'll probably reduce it to 15 seconds and then people will stop bitching about it.
Too many nerfs.
And frankly, let's be honest, the 2 people who actually still bitch about it, they can shut up.
Yeah. Well, what about the rest of the changes then?
They're all pretty just numbered changes. Like there's nothing like Alarak. All right, he's got some number changes, bonus damage on a talent, sadism cap changed, increased. I find it's kind of like nothing changes, and these are what we want in balance changes. You know, any balance change that takes a character and makes them OP is a bad balance change because it's not a balance. It's not balance if someone becomes OP.
It's an imbalance.
I think one big is Illidan's The Hunt. The cooldown from that's been increased to 100 seconds, 60 to 100. So that's I mean, you're not going to have you are not prepared or whatever it is every 60 seconds.
You'll be slightly more prepared. Yeah.
Oh.
But the character change.
Developer note that was pretty clever.
Yeah.
That coming.
He didn't think he was not prepared.
Yeah.
But the Kerrigan change though, apparently that's a pretty big one because it sort of makes it so that she can't just one hit Shrine Guardians on Infernal Shrines with her
because they reduce the damage of her Q.
Yeah.
It's not a massive reduction, but it's still big in comparison. They've buffed her spikes and they've buffed her grasp just to kind of counter that.
Yeah. And the loss of adaptation kind of just means we don't have any of that Flight of the Valkyries, Falstad, Kerrigan flying train anymore, or flying plane, I guess. None of that anymore. So that's a shame. That's a real shame.
I suppose the biggest heroes that the patches kind of affected are the Butcher, Zul. Zul's ones are pretty impressive. You got his health reduced on the skeletons from 270 to 240. The mages have had a cooldown increase, so skeletal mages is ulti. The healing has been reduced from his skeletons on that level 7
Basically
trait.
halved.
Yeah, on level 7 talent, but his mana return's been increased, and now it's just balanced for the mana and health. Previously, it was you get a lot of health, but not so much mana, and now it's equal for both. But yeah, apart from that, Orioles one's pretty big.
I don't. To be honest, I'm
Uther's is pretty big.
Looking at Oriole, I don't really see too much of a like that being too much of a.
It's not a it's not a buff or a nerf necessarily. It's just more of a consolidation of her power in landing skill shots.
Yeah. So it relies heavily now on her hitting people in the center and stunning them into walls, because now the outer damage doesn't do as much, but the center damage does. You can't just swipe away and get heaps of energy. And you can't just flip someone and get a decent amount of energy.
Even with the damage being decreased on some of the failing, like she gets less damage when she hits someone on the outside, but her natural hope generation has naturally increased by 10% anyway. So while outer damage was currently from her sacred sweep was 80%, she'd only get a bonus of 40. They've increased that to 50% to combat the fact that they've dropped the outer damage to 60. So now she's still getting 30 hope.
But the biggest change to her, the biggest change to her is the level 7 removal, the talent.
Oh yeah,
bursting light's been taken away. That's a massive hit.
It's a massive hit. Yeah.
That's a massive nerf. What? Anyway,
it's a huge nerf because
we're talking about how much, but how many seconds are we talking about?
It's basically a change. Bursting Light used to reduce the cooldown of her W from 4 seconds to 2 seconds. Yeah. Which actually is a huge thing. I'm actually like shocked that they just straight up cut it off. I figured like if you're gonna do anything to it, I don't know, move it to level 16, move it to level 20 even.
But what
just don't kill it.
But what other talents does she have on that tier? That's the
question. Her other talents are Glimmer of Hope, which is that you get a globe and 75% of your next heal is refunded. So like you can heal for 100% of that healing, and then you get 75% back. That's a pretty nice talent, and I've used it quite a few times. It's a nice talent to use. The other ones is
Empathic Link. That's the one where if someone takes damage, it gives her energy.
Yep.
Good for tanks. And the other one is Energized Core, which is basically her AAs. Give her more hope. You know what? With the removal of Bursting Light, I have no idea what is the better talent. They're all situational now.
I guess you'd be going probably for Empathetic Link now, wouldn't you? Just because there's nothing else that's actually good on that tier.
Depends on the real player.
You know what, I think I'm going to say like
depends on the team.
They've removed Bursting Light and saying that like it's a huge nerf. I don't think it's that much of a level of nerf, but I think the problem is that all of her other talents on level 7 suck
compared to Bursting Light.
Yeah, like I don't
pretty
think
much
2 seconds
in comparison,
is that much different. But comparing to what she's got now, it's like it's all shit. You remove the only thing that like picked up like first like 2 seconds reduction. Yeah, that's pretty good. Because the rest it's stinking pile of shit.
Yeah. It's also more that like the 2 second nerf, this 2 second talent being removed is huge when you have a hyper carry like Gul'dan, Cho'Gall, well probably not Cho'Gall because nobody ever plays Cho'Gall anymore. Gul'dan, Vala, even Sylvanas is kind of a hyper hope bringer. Maybe not a hyper carry, but her W gives so much hope, like it's insane, and even Jimmy gives like tons of hope. When you have a character like that and you drop your crown on them, suddenly like you're always like overflowing with the amount of hope, whereas when you had that 2 second cooldown, you could just heal, and you just have like 100,000 healing stat.
Yeah.
But now like without that, you're kind of boned again.
Yeah, you've got that longer cooldown, which is gonna.
I mean, sure, it's only 4 seconds, but still, like it's a pretty.
Is it going to remove, or is it going to promote more of the double support meta that we've been seeing lately? Disco.
Well, this is a weird one because in this same patch, Uther's received quite a I would an interesting nerf. He's no longer as big on throwing the armor because his healing's only doing 15% armor now. may as well just be fucking zero, right? Excuse me, language. May as well just be zero. It's only 15%, but his general healing across the board has increased. So, it's
kind of weird. I know.
It's like, well, there's Malfurion. Like, does that just mean Malfurion's back, Rhaegar's back, Cara Zim's back on a larger scale?
Doesn't have a cleanse. That's
I
really
think,
dropped him out of the meta.
Yeah.
But if you're taking Uther for a cleanse, because normally you're taking for Guardian and Kings,
The
right?
double support, yeah.
But you'd be taking double support. I don't know. I don't like the idea of the two super supports are shit now. We have to take another support to help them out. I don't conceptually like that as a place that we want to be, and I think in the even in I don't know. I don't know the direction the meta is going to go for particularly the ANZ region.
We'll adapt.
Double support. I mean, I think you always generally see Karazim paired up with someone else. Brightwing still heals like a wet fish. There's only very few situations with her.
I feel like Brightwing is not really for healing anymore. She's more for like that kind of utility, which is fine. I feel like what they're trying to do is they're trying to make all the supports more utility based, which I'm cool with. But at the same time, like we still have we still expect our supports to be able to heal to some extent. You know, maybe not Chatastar. We'll not call him a support in this context, but but like like we expect them to at least heal to some regard. So I think that's kind of what they're maybe trying to do. It's a bit weird.
Yeah, I think I think Malfurion and Rhaegar are just gonna, like, the other supports are just going to come back into play now because the other ones have. Uth is just a healer. Like he's really, I feel he's just
kind of a tank
healer
too, though.
He's very tanky for us.
They say that, but
he's a bit of a tank. He's a bit tanky. Let's be honest.
I think that's just like a visual thing. I think that's just someone said it once, so everyone thinks Uth is tanky.
No, the tanky thing came down to his armor, which is now nerfed.
It's now nerfed. Yeah, that's true. So that kind of sucks.
I mean, he's still got Guardian King, so he can still get the buff off. But I'm not 100% sure. I've never gotten the meta right. I've never predicted the meta. Maybe we'll just do
Plus, it's only been day one. Let's give it a couple of more days before we like.
Well, I haven't even fired up.
Wait till Kelly T. Wait till Kelly T. Metal.
Yeah.
How things
especially work. Especially with the hero rework that he's bringing along too.
Well, what Morales is getting reworked in it?
Yeah,
the Morales rework.
Let's touch on that in another episode.
Yeah.
Because we haven't seen anything. It's all just rumors.
When it comes along. Yeah, let's.
Reddit at the moment. So. The only other hero in the patch notes that I would like to have a look at is the Tyrant changes. They're not overly massive, but they've added a functionality on her heal which removes silences as well. That's important now that we've had Stukov released.
Huge. It's huge. Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know if it works as like it's a couple of seconds it lasts, or if it's just once you're silenced, you can remove it. That's it.
Could we maybe get someone in chat to confirm or deny? Because
I think at the moment that's a little bit, not to say gimmicky, but I think she's doing it to one target, so it really doesn't help the Stukov that much. If you're talking about Malfurion Twilight Dream, she should be getting caught in it, so it's a little bit of a moot point there.
Well,
and then outside that, who's really doing silence where it's a problem? You could,
Sylvanas?
Well, Sylvanas, the Butcher's Lamb to Slaughter, but it doesn't matter because you're still going to be tied down to a location.
Not necessarily though, because if you tie someone down that could otherwise escape, but they're just silenced, that's a pretty big thing.
Well, no, if you teleport out of the chains, because Lamb of the Slaughter never used to silence once a long time ago. If you say you could teleport out of the Lamb of Slaughter chain, you actually used to get dragged back in. I guess it buys you half a second.
Yeah.
Well, I remember when Butcher first came out, and when you did Lambs of the Slaughter, you could essentially break the chain by running away far enough. It would pull you back to a point, but you'd still be able to get out of it if you ran out of it far enough. It didn't bring you back in. But the changes to the silence, instead of allowing a hero to escape it, which it won't allow them to escape it, which is the Lamb of the Slaughter, but it will allow them to use their abilities. Think of a hero like Sylvanas. She is unstoppable once she casts her wave and she reactivates it, so she can essentially wave out of that.
Exactly.
Leoric.
Johanna can,
Yeah.
Johanna, Leo, yeah, even
There are a
Taz.
couple of them that, if they're able
Yeah.
to use their abilities, can then escape it, or can then at least get some damage into the Butcher, which who's been nerfed again anyway. So again, probably another mute point.
We'll see. Yeah.
Oh well, I mean it's day one. Going forward, we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see where this all goes.
And just another thing, though, I've tried.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah, I was just looking through Chen's changes. It looks like he's been nerfed, but at the same time, his level 1 quest appears to still be bugged. So that's pretty hilarious, and it's bugged in a good way.
How's that? What?
Like,
Whoa.
according to my friend, like instead of getting, it's it's a globe quest, I think. So like, normally you get a globe, you have 1 stack. You know, you get another globe, you have 2 stacks. For his globe quest, it seems to be bugged where like you get a globe, you end up with like 5 stacks or something like that. I don't know. So like instead of 1, it's like 5 or 2 or 3 or something like that. So he's counts for 2 instead of 1. Thanks, Keeper. So yeah, he's getting his globe quest completed like twice as fast.
Interesting.
So it's a pretty hilarious bug. And as of these patch notes, still not fixed. Unless it's been like shadow fixed.
Not mentioned in the buff.
I don't know. I haven't seen Chen in so many. I hadn't game for such a long time. I didn't even know thing was bugged, to be honest.
That's
there's
probably why it
a
hasn't
couple
been fixed
minor
yet.
changes there to Garrosh as well, with his taunt duration being increased by 0.5 a second.
Oh, actually, this is Garrosh. I did
You
compared
can
to
talk about Garrosh.
compared to his other. Like, I can't bring all his talents in together at the
His
moment, but
spinny axe.
everything's improved. Now I don't know if it's like a side upgrade, as you just have a new viable build, but you know, level 1, I think the throw distance range is increased from 20 to 30%. I think that's something a lot of people took. You can throw further distance now, and it does more damage now. Fantastic. Level 4, if you're taking in for the kill, it does more damage now. Into the fray. No longer uses mana. That's what you use to throw your friends, your allies.
Yeah.
The
And
taunt's got increased duration now. You're like, it's all good news. I don't know if you're going to take any of these talents into the fray and unrivaled strength, but it's all good news.
Yeah.
No nerf there.
Actually, now that I think about it, I feel like I'm going to actually not like this unrivaled strength buff, because already like the increased throw range, I've seen that just screw up so many of my friends. In some of my games, to make it 30%, that's gonna be pretty insane.
It's that 10% you've always been wanting to get him over the wall.
Yeah, it's that 10% that normally separates the great throwers from the god tier throwers, and now everyone's a god tier thrower.
And the god tier throwers are now, I don't know, Egyptian god card throwers. I don't know what to say.
But
Egyptian
beyond
god card, blue eyes, white dragon, disco, blue eyes, white dragon.
No, Dark Magician plus a bunch of other combo magic cards. Anyway, we're going way
We're
off
not
topic.
talking about Game of Thrones right now.
We're done now. We are done. We're very rapidly reaching the big duration of the time of the show. How long have we been going for? An hour and 30 minutes, so we're way over.
Well, I truly hope that goes.
Is there, just very quickly...
Let's talk about more stuff.
Just very quickly, is there anything else that you guys, yourselves... I keep putting things in front of the cameras. That you'd like to bring up this week? Anything you've seen, heard, or want to have a quick talk about?
You first.
Me. I was going to ask about what Katagari has actually been up to. We haven't seen him much in HOTS. We saw a couple of videos. The last live video I remember seeing was him soloing Stukov, soloing the boss as Stukov in try mode. What's been new with you, man?
Since then, I've actually made another video. It was just a quick video of me somehow managing to kill 5 people in an ARAM as Kerrigan, but
That's pretty cool.
yeah, that was kind of fun. I remember seeing something on Reddit. Someone finally managed to do it in a normal match, which is even more impressive. So, you know, hats off to all the Kerrigan mates who are able to do that. Otherwise, you know, started a new job. That's kind of fun. So,
Are we going to see more in the heroes scene soon, or are you just going to be floating around playing like a filthy casual?
Yeah, I've always been playing like a filthy casual. There's no difference there. But I feel like with especially with Kel'Thuzar coming in and all his hero reworks coming in, I should be back around for a while.
Big
Yeah,
event next
otherwise-
month. Big event next month. You can come back and do the quest.
Big event.
Big event,
let's
yeah,
call
yeah.
it.
Come
Yeah,
back and
let's
do
call
this
it
massive
event,
Kelly
yeah.
T event.
Yeah, the Kelly team meta is gonna be incredible. We'll see what I make then. I mean, otherwise I've kind of just been like working on other videos for other games because one of the games that I like to play is just, well, they recently announced some pretty huge changes to the game,
Oh.
like a pretty big expansion quote unquote. So that's kind of nice, and lots of new players are flooding in. So I'm like, oh, I'll try and help everyone out.
Oh,
Anyway, that's
no,
what I've
no,
been
don't
doing.
talk to me
Cool.
about games that have
Well,
trailers flooding in.
Well, thanks for
Do you have-
that. Kelly.
Do you have anything that you want to talk about for HOTS?
Me?
For-
Category. No, you asked HOTS.
I asked the questions.
You
I
asked the question. You've already asked. You already had your discussion point that was not really HOTS related, but kind of was in a weird way. What about yourself?
Anyway, yeah, for me, I don't know. Like the only thing that's probably of noteworthy is the reworks that are coming up, but you know, we don't really have enough information outside of what's.
I hate
floating
talking
around.
about reworks before they're out because it's like
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
like,
So that's
look at all
that's
these
really
changes. Yeah.
that's really
And
like the
then
only thing
this
I
one
could
doesn't
talk
happen.
about. Yeah.
Well, in
So
HOTS, they
I'm-
normally happen. No, sorry, they
They do
normally
normally
happen. Like the information you get is normally what they release. Very few times they actually change. Once something's on PTR, it's pretty much live. They're just play testing for bugs.
Yeah.
They're not user
but
feedback.
Sometimes they do change it a little bit. Like I'll go back to some old day when Zagara got reworked, ha ha ha, and the change of the Mutalisk from forever to 45 seconds happened between PTR and live. So like sometimes that happens too. But
That was
yeah,
back when they loved their player base. They discovered
Yeah.
that MOBAs are toxic as fuck, and they don't.
Mhm.
and everybody's like, oh my god,
Maybe
Mutas
it's
that
not
last
toxic.
forever. That's so OP. It's so OP.
I'm sure they will use much more amazing words.
Mm.
Well, it's
Yeah.
I've got nothing else I want to talk about because
No, I
pretty
think
much.
that's pretty much me done.
Well, the entire show is what I talk about, so I don't get to have a say.
I
in
feel
this.
like we've pretty much covered everything that's worth covering today. It's
That-
kind of. it's
we've
kind of
covered
good.
everything that's worth covering in the ANZ region in an hour and a half.
Yeah, that's it, guys. Only an
Kind
hour
of
and a half.
depressing. That's kind of depressing.
ANZ re-
Well, guys, let's close the show. That is it. Thank you all very much for joining us all tonight in chat. You guys have been fantastic. And if you're listening to us on some sort of podcast machine, or if you're on the YouTube watching the video, thank you very much for checking it out after the fact. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Blank, take us out. Don't take us out, but thank you very much for coming to the show.
Take us out. Bye, guys.
That's Blank. He said
Well,
bye.
Bye.
All right, I'll take us out. All right, this has been a wonderful time, and you guys all had a enjoyable experience. My name's Pedagari. This is Disconcur and Blank Hots, and we'll see you guys next time. Cheerio!